My name is Bill, and welcome to Behind the Screen, bringing you the latest in cinema entertainment. I will be hosting solo today, as my amazing co-host Nikki Vogel is ill today. I hope she'll be back next week so we can talk about so much more in the world of movie news. Before we begin, it's time to digress for a moment. I should make it a habit, but I'm not going to. My cousin, who lives in Carbondale, Southern Illinois University, who studies at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, is turning 21 today. So I just want to say really quickly, happy birthday, Heather. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great day. So let's go ahead and get into the world of movie news. We're going to talk about a couple trailers that hit the web this week. We're going to talk about a Zombieland sequel getting greenlit. We're going to talk about the Angry Birds movie. We're going to talk about Ben Affleck, Alec Baldwin. We're going to talk about this Twilight coming back on Facebook. There's so much we're going to talk about. So let's go ahead and begin with the trailers. Now, there were a couple new trailers that hit the web. One for the Christopher Nolan movie Interstellar, and the other for the sequel Taken 3. To give you a little bit of background on Interstellar, is about a group of explorers who make use of a newly discovered wormhole to surpass the limitations on human space travel and conquer the vast distances involved in an interstellar travel. It is directed by Christopher Nolan. It's written by Nolan and his brother, Jonathan, who is best known for creating the hit CBS series, Person of Interest. And it stars a humongous cast. Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Michael Caine, Ellen Burstyn, John Lithgow, Casey Affleck, Topher Grace, Mackenzie Foy, Wes Bentley. So many people. And I'm so excited for this film. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, I can't play it right now, but I would highly recommend you go see it. It is a gorgeous trailer, which is what we come to expect from someone like Christopher Nolan. If you don't know, his background is the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception, but he's done a lot of other films before that. He did The Prestige, Memento, and another film that right now is escaping my mind. But I'm so excited for this film. If you haven't seen the trailer, it is a gorgeous trailer. It has so many great visual effects, really great cinematography. It looks like Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Wes Bentley, they're all doing a great job. Mackenzie Foy as well, if you don't know her, she is from the Twilight series. I am just so excited for this movie. And there's this really great shot at the end of the trailer that I want you to keep aware of. And then the music in the trailer, I don't know if it's stock trailer music or if it's the actual score by Hans Zimmer, who has worked with Nolan before on the Batman trilogy and on Inception. But if it is, he is doing such a great job. I am so excited for this film. So if you haven't seen the trailer, please check it out. All right, now let's talk about the trailer for Taken 3, the sequel that apparently everyone asked for, I guess. So a little bit of background information. Liam Neeson returns as ex-covert operative Brian Mills, whose reconciliation with his ex-wife is tragically cut short when she is brutally murdered. Consumed with rage and framed for the crime, he goes on the run to evade the relentless pursuit of the CIA, FBI, and the police. For one last time, Mills must use his particular set of skills. That was my best Liam Neeson impression. Obviously, it's not good. To track down the real killers, exact his unique brand of justice, and protect the only thing that matters to him now, his daughter. The film also stars Forrest Whitaker, Famke Janssen, and Maggie Grace. It's directed by Olivier Megaton, who directed the previous movie Taken 2, and is written by Luc Besson and Robert Mark Kamen. Now, that description I read you so far, that is basically the movie. that is basically the trailer, as I was about to say. Everything you read in that description is in the trailer. Yes, it has its money shots. It's got Liam Neeson kicking butt like he always is. It's got all the action, but everything. But I feel like I can review the film now. Obviously, I can't, because that is nothing you should do. That is something you should never do as a person who sees films. But I feel like the trailer gives away too much. But, plot has never really mattered in this instance with this series. But one thing I am noticing, there is a surprising lack of being taken in this trailer. And it's expected, because Luc Besson said, it was either Luc Besson or Robert Mark Kamen, he said in an interview that they were planning to go in an entirely different direction. And of course, Taken 2 was a huge hit, made over $300 million at the box office. Wasn't expected to be a huge hit, but it was. So it's only natural that 20th Century Fox would want a sequel. And apparently this looks like to be the last Taken. Unless it makes more money, then be prepared for Taken 4, more taking. That's my title for the film before it even comes out. So Taken 3, it will be released in theaters on January 9th, 2015. And Interstellar will be released in theaters on November 7th, 2014. So go check those trailers out if you haven't. Zombieland, movie that came out in 2009, a movie I really liked. So Zombieland, in case you were wondering, has returned from the dead finally. The 2009 action comedy is getting a sequel, Deadline reports. Sony Pictures has hired Dave Callahan, who previously scripted The Expendables, to pen the script, and Ruben Fleischer will return as director. No word yet on whether the actors from the original cult hit will return, but their paychecks will almost certainly increase if they do. That's funny. Since 2009, Jesse Eisenberg has starred as Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network. Emma Stone has taken off in the Amazing Spider-Man films. Abigail Breslin has played opposite Meryl Streep in August Osage County. And Woody Harrelson has earned critical acclaim for his role in HBO's True Detective. But it would be a coup if Sony could coax back the entire cast, plus Bill Murray, who graced the original with a cameo. Very, very memorable cameo, in fact. One reason the now all-star cast might return is that in the 5 years since Zombieland hit theaters, zombies have only gotten more popular. The Walking Dead is the most watched show in cable history. World War Z grossed over $540 million worldwide, and even indie films like Warm Bodies and Life After Beth are playing with the trope. I am super excited about this if this happens, because I am a huge fan of Zombieland, the original. I love Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin in that film. I thought it was really funny. Of course, it is a really gory film too. And zombie movies have become increasingly popular today. World War Z, if you haven't seen it, it's a super tense film, and I highly recommend you see it. So I'm very excited for this. Again, there's no word yet on when it's going to be released, who's returning, but we do know that Dave Callahan, who scripted The Expendables, The Expendables really isn't known for its Shakespearean writing of any kind, and I feel like that's being kind of generous, but I am super excited for this. So Zombieland 2 will be happening. All right. Now, we all love the game Angry Birds. Well, I play it very sparingly in life. But it was announced like a while back that an Angry Birds movie was going to happen. And we were like, how are they going to do it? What story could you possibly put in a game where you flick a bird to knock some stuff down? Well, Sony Pictures and Rovio Entertainment revealed the voice cast for the animated Angry Birds film today. Jason Sudeikis from We're the Millers and Horrible Bosses will headline Angry Birds as Red, while Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones will voice Mighty Eagle, and Maya Rudolph from Bridesmaids will play Matilda. Josh Gad will also lend his voice to the project as Chuck, marking the actor's first animated movie since Frozen, the blockbuster hit for Disney. And if you don't know who Josh Gad voiced, he did the voice of Olaf in Frozen. Other well-known actors joining the Angry Birds cast include Danny McBride from This Is the End as Bomb and Bill Hader from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs as a member of the Pork Side. I have no idea what that means. This is something my brother will be excited about. Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele will also lend his voice to the flick, along with Arrested Development and Veep actor Tony Hale. I love Tony Hale. To round out the cast, the supporting actors for Angry Birds include Kate McKinnon, Ike Barinholtz from Neighbors and The Mindy Project, Hannibal Buress from Neighbors, Cristela Alonso, Jillian Bell, who we just saw in 22 Jump Street, Danielle Brooks from Orange is the New Black, singer Romeo Santos, and YouTube stars Smosh, who are Ian Andrew Hecox and Anthony Padilla. This report comes from IGN. The film will be directed by Pharrell Riley and Clay Cadis, and Angry Birds is set to debut in the United States on July 1st, 2016. Again, I have no idea how they're going to make an Angry Birds film, but this cast list right here, it really excites me. These are all really funny people. A lot of SNL current players like Kate McKinnon, and also previous players like Maya Rudolph and Jason Sudeikis and Bill Hader. So even though I myself am not particularly excited about the film, I am excited for this cast because it is a hugely talented, hugely funny cast. So keep an eye on the Angry Birds film because they just got a bunch of really great people. So let's continue on with some movie news. Ben Affleck may have found his next big screen role. Sources tell Variety that the Gone Girl and Batman v Superman actor is in negotiations to star in the action thriller The Accountant for Warner Brothers. Gavin O'Connor, who previously directed Warrior, oh my gosh, I love that movie, is said to be WB's top choice to direct the film, although no offer has been made. Based on an original script by Bill DeBuck, The Accountant centers on a mild-mannered accountant who moonlights as a lethal assassin. The project had been in development limbo for years, most recently at Sony, with Will Smith once attached to the project, but was eventually put into turnaround after the studio could not assemble the right package. WB originally had rights to The Accountant, with Mel Gibson attached to direct. Insiders tell Variety Affleck recently caught wind of the project and thought it would be a nice change of pace before directing Live by Night, which will not begin filming until June and has already cast Zoe Saldana, Elle Fanning, and Sienna Miller. Mark Williams and Lynette Howell are producing the film. Drew Crevello and John Gonda will oversee for Warner Brothers. The role gives the multi-talented actor another gritty role to sink his teeth into following his rave reviews in David Fincher's Gone Girl, which opens Friday. Affleck will head back to Detroit to resume filming Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice once he finishes campaigning for Gone Girl. He is repped by WME. A lot of people, I don't know why, but a lot of people just don't like Ben Affleck. When he was cast as Batman, there was a huge uproar in the fan community. Or I want to say fanboy community. I'm not sure. But I am a huge fan of Ben Affleck. I've seen a lot of films of his, but the films he has directed are some of my favorite films today. I think of Gone Baby Gone, The Town, and Argo, which won Best Picture last year at the Oscars. And he is not only a super talented director based on those films alone, but he has improved in front of the camera as a result of him kind of directing himself and having people tell him what's great and what's not. So I was very excited when I heard he was being cast as Batman in the Man of Steel sequel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And I have heard nothing but great things about his performance in Gone Girl, which opens Friday. And I'm excited for this as well. It sounds really interesting. And Will Smith was attached to it at one point, but he backed out. Mel Gibson was attached to direct. He backed out, and now they want Gavin O'Connor from Warrior to direct, which I think is really great because I love Warrior. So, I mean, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for Ben Affleck to join The Accountant. Alec Baldwin will voice the lead character of DreamWorks Animation's Boss Baby, with Kevin Spacey set to show off his sinister side yet again to play uber corporate villain Francis C. Francis in the family comedy to be released on March 18th, 2016. Inspired by Marla Frazee's picture book of the same name, the film revolves around a fast-talking, suit-wearing, briefcase-carrying baby who must pair up with his 7-year-old brother to stop the dastardly plot of the CEO of PuppyCo, played by Spacey, and restore order in the world. Madagascar franchise helmer Tom McGrath will direct the tune, with Michael McCullers, who wrote the Austin Powers films, doing the script. Ramsey Nato of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, and Denise Casino of Mr. Peabody and Sherman and Megamind are producing the film. DreamWorks Animation's next releases include The Penguin of Madagascar on November 26th, Home on March 27, 2015, Boo, Bureau of Otherworldly Operations on June 5th, 2015, and Kung Fu Panda out December 23rd, 2015. Again, this sounds so weird to me. I've never read this book, but that description, fast-talking, suit-wearing, briefcase-carrying baby, that's kind of funny. And I mean, the thing about DreamWorks, it was founded by Steven Spielberg. They can get these big-name voice actors, which is what I think one of their advantages are. They have advantage of over Pixar is that they get these huge voices. If you look at Kung Fu Panda, Jack Black, Angelina Jolie, David Cross, Danny McBride, Gary Oldman. If you look at How to Train Your Dragon, Gerard Butler, America Ferrera, Craig Ferguson, Jay Baruchel, they can get these high-profile, talented actors to come and do these voices for some of the silliest stuff. And this stuff does seem kind of silly to me, but it's actually it's got me interested a little bit because it's just that silly. Have you ever played the game Tetris? Have you ever wished that someone would make a movie about it? Me neither, but it's going to happen. I'm just kidding. Tetris, the classic video game that involves slotting shaped blocks together, is to be turned into a movie. The game will provide the inspiration for an epic sci-fi story, according to film company Threshold Entertainment. The company adapted the game Mortal Kombat into a movie in 1995. The simple but addictive Tetris is not an obvious choice for the big screen treatment, though that did not stop LEGO spawning a movie this year and for making it really, really great. Threshold Entertainment chairman Larry Kasanoff, who will produce the film, said, "Everyone knows that Tetris is one of the best-known, most beloved brands in the world. What everyone doesn't know yet is this epic sci-fi story that we're going to tell. That's what's really exciting." Hank Rogers, managing director of the Tetris Company, said the film would reimagine the common experience and bring a spectacular new Tetris universe to the big screen. He added, "In this new universe, as you'll soon find out, there's much more to Tetris than simply clearing lines." Tetris was created by Alexei Pachinov, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name, in 1984 and is now played online more than 1 billion times a year. The success of the LEGO movie helped boost the profits of the LEGO company by 12% in the first half of this year, so it can be expected that the Tetris movie will boost the profits of Tetris by the end of this year. So it's not surprising they want to do this. Personally, I'm not excited for it. I don't play that much Tetris. I don't play that many video games in general, but you know, it's kind of interesting to hear that this epic sci-fi story is going to happen in the midst of this very simple, not simple, but like very just kind of like, I can't put words to it, but it's a simple video game. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with it. Of course, I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll do really, really well. So, I mean, the Lego movie, no one expected that to be great. some people probably did. And what do you know? It turned out it is one of my favorite films of this year. So we'll just see. We'll just see. It's going to be exciting to see what they do with it. So let's get into one of my favorite things to talk about when it comes to film, the box office. At number 1, we had The Equalizer, which made $34 million. At number 2, we had The Maze Runner, make $17 million. At number 3, we had The Box Trolls, also make $17 million, just a little bit less. Number 4, This Is Where I Leave You, made $6 million. Number 5, Dolphin Tale 2, made $5 million. Number 6, No Good Deed, made $4 million. Number 7, A Walk Among the Tombstones, made $4 million. Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy, made $3 million. Number 9, Let's Be Cops, made $2 million. And number 10, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, made $1.5 million. So I knew that The Equalizer was going to be the winner of this particular week, because there's really not much else playing. The Equalizer stars Denzel Washington, Chloe Grace Moretz, and Martin Sokas, and it was made for a budget of $35 million, and it made $35 million this weekend. So it's on point to do really, really well. And the studio that distributed it, they're already talking about a sequel. They said there was franchise potential in this film since the beginning. The latest from Leica Entertainment, The Box Trolls. Leica, if you don't know, produced Coraline, and there was something. Oh, Paranorman. They make a lot of really, really weird films, weird animated films, but gorgeous animated films. Well, The Box Trolls made $17 million. It was expected to gross only $15 million, so it exceeded expectations. It was made for $60 million, so it won't make like too much of a profit, but it'll be fine. It'll make just enough money. The rest of the box office, it's really not that surprising. Where it placed. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at number 10. That, I think, after this week, that will drop out of the top 10. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, will go down a slot. The Maze Runner. The Maze Runner has done well. It made $17 million for a total gross of $57 million, produced on a budget of $34 million. So it has done well and compared to other YA novel adaptations. YA, if you don't know, is young adult. It's done better than films like The Host and The Moral Instrument, City of Bones. So that is the weekend box office. Again, no surprises to it. I think everything worked out the way I expected it to work out. Okay, so say you don't want to go to the theater and you want to bring home, and you just want to bring the movie with you so you can watch it over and over again. Well, the latest on Blu-ray is the new Transformers film, Transformers: Age of Extinction. It is directed by Michael Bay, every critic's favorite director. I'm just kidding. If you read reviews on any Michael Bay films, it's kind of sad, but he's making a lot of money, so I don't suspect he cares. It's written by Aaron Kruger, who wrote the previous 2 Transformers movies, and it stars Mark Wahlberg, Stanley Tucci, Nicola Peltz, Jack Rayner, Kelsey Grammer, Frasier himself. Little synopsis on the movie. Transformers: Age of Extinction begins after an epic battle left a giant city torn, but with the world saved. As humanity picks up the pieces, a shadowy group reveals itself in an attempt to control the direction of history, while an ancient, powerful new menace sets Earth in its crosshairs. With the help from a new cast of humans, led by Mark Wahlberg, Optimus Prime and the Autobots rise to meet their most fearsome challenge yet. In an incredible adventure, they are swept up in a war of good and evil, ultimately leading to a climactic battle across the world. The film is distributed by Paramount. So, in terms of what is on the Blu-ray release of Transformers: Age of Extinction, some of the special features include Bay on Action, which is a featurette about where Michael Bay talks about his style of directing. There's an 8-part making of documentary when it comes to for the film. There is a blooper reel. There's a featurette from T.J. Miller, who was in the film, and there are trailers. So if you haven't seen Transformers: Age of Extinction, you really want to, well, now's the time. You can go and pick it up on Blu-ray, or you can pick it up on iTunes, $19.99 in HD, $14.99 in SD. If you want my personal preference, I do like SD. It is cheaper, and it does not take up as much space as HD, especially for a movie like this. This movie is 165 minutes long, which is really long. So, as you can probably tell, it'll take up more space. So if you get it in HD, you can. It'll look really great. I mean, these movies always look great, but it'll be over 5 gigabytes of space that you'll take up if you buy an HD, whereas the SD version, it'll only take up 3 gigabytes. So if you want on iTunes, $19.99 in HD, $14.99 in SD. The last thing I want to do today is let you know what is going to be playing this Friday in theaters. If you want the full theater experience, well, I'll let you know what is going on. So in theaters, we have Gone Girl, directed by David Fincher and based upon the global bestseller by Gillian Flynn. Gone Girl unearths the secrets at the heart of a modern marriage. On the occasion of his 5th wedding anniversary, Nick Dunn reports that his beautiful wife, Amy, has gone missing. Under pressure from the police and a growing media frenzy, Nick's portrait of a blissful union begins to crumble. Soon his lies, deceits, and strange behavior have everyone asking the same dark question. Did Nick Dunn kill his wife? The film stars Ben Affleck, Rosamund Pike, Neil Patrick Harris, Tyler Perry, Carrie Coon, and David Clennon. Also playing in theaters, we have the Conjuring spin-off, Annabelle, based on the really creepy doll in the film. All they can say is before The Conjuring, there was Annabelle. It's being distributed by Warner Brothers, directed by John R. Leonetti, who was the cinematographer of The Conjuring, and it's written by Gary Doberman. It stars Annabelle Wallis, Ward Horton, Alfred Woodard, Eric Layton, Tony Amendola, and Brian Howe. Also playing is, and this one hasn't gotten any promotion, the new Nicolas Cage movie called Left Behind. The most important event in the history of mankind is happening right now. In the blink of an eye, the biblical rapture strikes the world. Millions of people disappear without a trace. All that remains are their clothes and belongings. And in an instant, terror and chaos spread across the world. The vanishings caused unmanned vehicles to crash and burn. Planes fall from the sky. Emergency forces everywhere are devastated. Gridlock, riots, and looting overrun the cities. There is no one to help or provide answers. In a moment, the entire planet is plunged into darkness. The film stars Nicolas Cage, Leah Thompson, Cassie Thompson, Nikki Wellen, Chad Michael Murray, and American Idol winner Jordan Sparks. And finally, the new Reese Witherspoon film, The Good Lie. They were simply known as the Lost Boys. Orphaned by the brutal civil war in Sudan that began in 1983, these young victims traveled as many as 1,000 miles on foot in search of safety. 15 years later, a humanitarian effort would bring 3,600 lost boys and girls to America. In The Good Lie, Felipe Falardo, I'm sorry if I got that name wrong, but winner and director of the Oscar-nominated foreign language film Monsieur Lazare, brings the story of their survival and triumph to life. Actors Arnold Oksang, Gerdouani, Emmanuel Jal, and newcomer Niakoth Well. I hope I did not get any of those names wrong, because those are names I can't pronounce. Many of whom were also Children of War, star alongside Academy Award winner Reese Witherspoon and Corey Stoll. So that is what's going to be playing in your local box office. So if you want to go see a film, I would highly recommend checking out those films. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me today on this really, really rainy and wet Thursday morning. Thank you for listening to me on Behind the Screen, bringing you the latest in cinema entertainment. I'm Bill Loki, and you just listened to Your Station, Your Voice.